Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here once again, and today I have another Tiny Tina's Wonderlands video for you. This one checking out the classes and determining which one you should pick when you jump into the game this week. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Helps me out tremendously, shows you want to see more content like this because we are going to have loads of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands stuff on this channel going forward, from builds and guides and tips and tricks, all that kind of good stuff. So definitely stay tuned, definitely like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of the Tiny Tina's stuff, because that's the best way to stay informed and follow my videos. Make sure you also turn on the bell notification as well. But let's jump into it now. If you weren't aware how the class system works in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, it's a bit different than we've seen in past Borderlands games. So there's a little bit more to get used to. You're not going to have your traditional character that you pick, like a Zero or someone like that. Instead, you're going to have classes. Now, these classes are Berserker, Clawbringer, Graveborn, Spellshot, Spore Warden, and Omancer. One place where it also differs from past Borderlands games is not only will you pick your main class, you'll also be able to multi-class, like you've seen in games like Dungeons & Dragons and other RPGs. So you can pick one class to start, and then change your class and add some effects from a second class later down the line. So that's going to be really cool as you level up. You're going to be able to really customize these characters in a way you haven't been able to do in past Borderlands games, and it's going to really give it a really cool dynamic feel once you're able to mix and match your classes, your spells, your guns. Everything is going to come together to have like a perfect storm of character customization. So everyone is going to feel unique. And builds aren't going to be relying on solely one progression, because obviously if you mix a Berserker with a Clawbringer, Graveborn, or Spellshot, Spore Warden, or Omancer, they're all going to feel different, right? A Berserker with a Spellshot, which is like a mage, will feel like a tank or a melee magic user, whereas a Berserker with a Clawbringer is going to be a tanky melee character. So there's a lot of options to mix and match. I'm going to jump into a little bit more of what the classes do specifically and then go from there. Also, if you didn't know, there's actually a calculator you can use, which you can show what points you can put into various classes, how much points you can get for hitting max level, and what the abilities do for all of the classes. I'm going to link that, actually add it as a comment pinned down below, so definitely check that out if you're interested as well, because that's been super helpful to kind of test around and see what I want to use. Personally, I think I'm going to go with a Spellshot Clawbringer, but we're going to have to wait and see, and I'll probably end up playing multiple characters and classes when all is said and done. So Berserkers are tenacious, frost-infused bruisers who complement their firepower with an onslaught of brutal, up-close, and personal melee attacks. So this is going to be a primarily melee character, which is going to be awesome. I feel like it's something that I love to see in games like Borderlands and other looter shooters. Just a melee-centric character that just beats everything up. So I feel like that's going to be really awesome. Melee and frost damage. So if you do want to specialize in frost damage, that'll help there. Here's his skill tree right here. The Rage of the Ancients is one of his ultimates. And yeah, these look really cool. Class feats is the action skill Rage of the Ancients. He becomes enraged like you would see from a traditional barbarian type in Dungeons and Dragons or other RPGs. And yeah, so it basically enraged lasts adds bonus to frost damage, and enraged duration lasts until you enter save your soul, which is probably the death mechanic when you're trying to down and self-revive. So activating action skill when already enraged restores a portion of the range timer. These got action skills like Dreadwind, he spins, slashing anything nearby. Feral Surge, that's his jump ability. And he's got a bunch of passives that increase his frost damage, melee damage, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, overall, this is the melee character. If you want to be melee focused, really jump into battle, full chaos, this is going to be the character that you're really going to want to go through. I'm not going to go through everything just because I want to leave some for you guys to figure out yourself. But yeah, this is generally how the Berserker works. Next up, we're going to have the Clawbringer. This is going to be more of a tank character. It says, Clawbringer's faithful warriors bring down thunder and flames and have the Wyvern companion. This is what I'm most interested in with the Clawbringer personally. That Wyvern looks really awesome. So here's the skill tree. The Wyvern companion looks awesome. I'm very excited about that. And it flies through the environment and attacks enemies with its claws and fire breath. And he increases the Fate Maker's damage also applied to their companions. Huge. We've got Cleansing Flame, summons their hammer and slams it down on the ground, dealing melee damage, creating a massive fire nova. That sounds really dope. Storm Dragon's Judgment, summons a hammer and dealing lightning damage. This is Thor-like that we've seen in some of the trailers. And then here are the passive skills. Bonus fire damage, increased ward capacity. Wards are going to be your shields in this game. And then bonus damage, bonus lightning damage here. So you can kind of spec into either fire or lightning probably if you want to have one be really, really strong. And it'll obviously change depending on what enemy type you are up against, because some are going to be strong against lightning or fire. So Blastomet's Favorite, that's a cool name of that. Firebolt, yeah, Friend of Flame, Sword Breath. So all of these have to do with lightning or fire for the most part. Look at that. That hammer is dope. I love it. And if you haven't seen some of the melee weapons, they look really awesome in this game. Graveborn, Death Touch, Acolyte, sacrifice health to unleash devastating dark magic attacks and become the phantasmal Reaper of Bones. They have a little Lich companion, Demi-Lich companion as well, which is cool. I like the companions in the Borderlands games, so this is another character that I'm considering. So if you like high damage, high risk, because you're going to be taking damage from your spells, this is where you want to go, kind of like a Warlock class. Whenever it casts a spell, the Demi-Lich will cast Hellish Blast with a homing projectile. The spell's elemental type, dealing damage to nearby enemies on impact. So that sounds really dope as well. I'm very excited about that. Dire Sacrifice sacrifices some of their current health to deal dark magic damage and apply dark magic status effects to all enemies. It does bonus damage proportional to the sacrificed amount of health. So basically, you can take more damage in order to do extra damage to the enemies, which is interesting. It'll be very cool to see if you want to do a Glass Cannon type all or nothing build. This is probably going to be the way to go. The Reaper Bones Fate Maker is fully healed, gains leech efficiency, and deals bonus dark magic damage for a duration, but loses an ever increasing amount of health per second. When the Fate Maker would die, they become invulnerable for a duration, restore some health, and Reaper of Bones. This looks like it's going to be really good for like high-end content, because you will take damage over time, but the invulnerable period and restoring some of their health sounds really cool. So maximum health increase. Basically, you're going to focus on your health and the damage you do. That's going to be your two main points of interest with this character class. Yeah, so yeah, all of this will combine to do heavy dark magic and also heal yourself quite a bit and also buff your Demi-Lich as well. So this class seems really cool. I'm excited about this one as well. And yeah, overall, I think the different playstyles are very evident on how you're going to want to pick your class. Now we're going to have the Spellshot gun-toting wizards who can unleash a constant barrage of spells and bullets and transform the enemies into harmless livestock with a snap of their fingers. That's kind of dope. So he's got Spell Weaving, class feat, cast a spell, reloading. Weapon grants the Spellshot a stack of Spell Weaving, increasing spell damage. Spell Weaving stacks automatically decay after a few seconds. Casting a repeating spell has a chance to award additional Spell Weaving stacks. So if you didn't know, there's no grenades in this game. Instead, they're replaced by spells, and that's where this character is really going to be focused on. Ambidextrous may equip a spell in their action slot. Whenever the spell shot presses the action skill button, they cast a spell. Basically, you'll have multiple spells available at any time. Or Polymorph, this is when you turn them into a skeep. And if the enemy is immune, the Spellshot instantly casts a free spell on that enemy and gains 2 free stacks of Spell Weaving. So that sounds really cool. It could be interesting, especially against a bunch of mobs that are susceptible to Polymorph. So that's cool. So basically, your bonuses are going to be applied to your spells with this class, and that has me super interested because I feel like there's going to be a lot of different spells, so you can really customize this character with the spells that you pick. And then also a portion of all bonuses the Fate Maker receives applies to the guns as well, which is cool. So yeah, kind of a gun mage, which is awesome. And this is the class that I'm kind of most looking forward to, just because I feel like I said there's going to be such a variety of spells that it's going to give me more options for wild builds and to do fun stuff rather than the classes who are a little bit more limited. Spore Wardens are masters of nature who summon tornadoes and launch volleys of arcane arrows into enemy lines along their toxin speed and mushroom companion. So 3 characters with companions so far, and yeah, this one's going to be interesting as well. This is more of like a druid class kind of, but not fully. It's got the mushroom companion that deals nearby enemies poison damage. Pinging an enemy will cause your mushroom companion to lunge towards them. Any increases of fate mage damage also applies to companions. So Barrage, this is an ethereal bow, firing 7 arrows that deal ability damage. That's really cool. Blizzard creates 3 frost cyclones for a duration. So just like the Berserker, another frost character. So this is the only reason that overlap is the reason I'm not as interested in Spore Warden personally. But this Barrage does sound really, really dope. Then we've got all the skills. So basically it's buffs the companion, buffs the gun damage and ability damage. So this is a more generalized class. If you don't really want to focus on your class abilities, it's going to have a lot of options to just increase your gun and ability skills instead of focusing on just your class stuff. And finally, we've got the Stab Omancer, sneaky critical hit focus assassins who summon magic whirling blades and disappear in the shadows as well. This is going to be your sneak thief, your character who's going to hide and probably do the most damage if I had to guess. You're going to see big hit numbers from this class for sure. And yeah, I think that's going to be the main focus of this one. Fate Maker's critical hit chance is increased, and then Ghostblade. Those out of Ghostblade which spins in place at target location, dealing melee damage periodically to nearby enemies based on the Fate Maker's equipped melee weapon. That could be really interesting. Pressing the action skill while Ghostblade is active causes it to teleport to the targeted location and reduces its remaining duration by a small percentage. So basically, toss it out. You can move it if you want to. From the shadows, Fate Maker enters stealth, turning invisible. While in stealth, all damage dealt is automatically a critical hit, but critical hits deal reduced damage. Ooh, that's probably huge because otherwise it'd probably be pretty broken. But yeah, this character is going to be dishing out heavy crit hit damage. So that's really where you're probably going to be focused on weapons that have high critical damage, high crit hit percentage. So melee attack speed, status damage. Okay, so yeah, you want to do melee with this character as well, but more sneaky melee for sure. And then whenever he does melee damage, fire rate and spell damage are increased as well. Yeah, critical hit damage increased. That's really where this class is going to shine once you do some melee stuff. And then Executioner's Blade. Oh, that's cool. You can summon an Ethereal Blade with this tier 6 ability as well. And there's a Omancer. Anyway, you can customize your character as much as you want. I do like the options for this. Like I said, I think I am leaning towards the Spellshot and then also the Clawbringer just for the Wyvern. But we'll see. Maybe I'll go Clawbringer into Spellshot. Just depends on the best route to go there. Otherwise, I'm going to be testing out all these classes. Let me know in the comments down below which one you're most looking forward to, what might be your favorite. My name is JoPaWrites, and I'll catch you all later.